Well, hello, and welcome
Hello.
to another episode
Hello.
of the Pixel Report. We're here on Discord.
We're breaking up already.
Uh-oh. You gonna have background noise. Yeah, we're not in the studio today. The library's closed. so we're doing this over the popular voice chat app, Discord.
Popular with gamers.
It is popular among gamers, and we are gamers.
Emphasis on the word gay.
Yeah, definitely. I'm your host, John Shoneman, coming to you live from my apartment. We got Aiden here.
Hi, I'm here.
Aiden's here.
I'm just sitting here at my desk.
Cool.
Comfort of my own home, you know.
Alec is here in the room adjacent to mine.
Yo, what up, Alec? Your boy here representing.
That sounds good. Alec, think you're something wrong with your microphone?
Yeah, I think you might need to just turn the levels down a little bit.
Is this better? What is this?
You sound like you're like in a cave now.
Okay, here we
Quiet.
go. I think this is a good position.
Yeah, I think you're good now. And then Eric Kirsting is here with us as well.
That's me.
Hey, partner. How's everyone doing? Y'all doing all right?
All right, this weather is throwing me for a loop today, man.
Yeah, man. It's like the sun's out and it's raining at the same time. And
It's
then
called a sun shower.
and then there was like a thunderstorm, and now it's sunny again.
I had
Right.
my windows open before I left for work today, and
Yeah.
I put my external hard drive on the windowsill for some reason. And
Oh no!
when I came back, the rain had rained on my hard drive.
Did it still work?
Oh,
I haven't checked to see if it works. I'm too scared, but I don't really care. I got 2 hard drives with all identical files on them, just in case.
I bet it's okay because it's enclosed, you know.
Yeah. If the gods are merciful, it will be okay.
Well, as long as you've been a good little boy, I can't see any reason why they wouldn't be merciful.
uh, he
No, I
he's
can't say.
he's
Can't
been-
say that.
he's
Oh,
been
you've
a,
been naughty.
he's been a naughty boy. I know he has.
Naughty.
Anyway, we're here at the Pixel Report to talk about an old video game that we played this week, which is what we do. But usually we talk about something else first. Eric, do you have a warm-up topic for us this week?
Yeah. In honor of today's game, what's your favorite and least favorite number?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good question. I'm coming through in someone's microphone, by the way. I could hear my voice.
It could be mine. Talk again. Maybe now you're not.
Hello? I don't know. If I hear it again, I'll speak up. But anyway,
Okay.
favorite number. I've always liked the number 27. I don't know why. I just like that number.
I think the question was your least favorite number.
Oh, at least
Favorite and least favorite.
Oh,
So the number 27, is that, have you ever had a moment where you picked that number because for the lottery or something?
I pick that number whenever I have to pick a number. My first email address was modestmouse_27. And I'm sure I've used it for some other stuff too. It's the only positive integer that's 3 times the sum of its digits.
Wait, 27? Oh, okay. 3 times the sum of its digits. That's interesting, I guess.
It's the radix of the septimvigesimal positional numeral system.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, anyways, so Aiden, what's your favorite or least favorite number?
I don't know.
He likes
My favorite.
He likes the number 2.
Sure, yeah, I like the number 2. Least favorite easily is 69.
I don't really like that number much either.
I like number 13. It's unlucky. It's like a secret curse number. I like curse numbers.
What about 666?
666 is pretty
The
good.
number of the beast. Yeah, it's a good number.
Speaking of six, that's my least favorite number. I think the number six. Maybe I don't like the meme numbers more like 420 and 69. But outside of like those, I don't know. I've never had a good relationship with the number six. I do really I like almost all prime numbers, but in particular 23 because I was born on the 23rd, and 11 are two of my favorite numbers.
23 and what's the significance of 11? Anything?
I just like the way it looks. I like the two ones. I think they look nice next to each other.
Okay, yeah.
So
What about
1111, make a wish.
I'll do you one better. How about 111?
well,
And you get one more.
I think there's something beautiful about just like two straight lines, and then three is too many.
Wait, I got my number. I got a gamer favorite. It's 1,337.
Leet?
Yeah,
Elite
that's
Pros.
me. I'm Elite Gamer.
I like any number that's over 9,000.
Yeah.
Alec, what do you like?
I was gonna say I like 9,000, just because it sounds like future, like
Yeah.
the Robo Boy 9,000 will fly through the sky on a rocket jets. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's really cool.
So I like 9,000, and by that logic, the number 0 is dumb because
Whoa.
it's like Stone Age, like Neanderthal boys
But that's
just like
cool.
hitting their heads together.
Okay.
I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, Zero. There's like Twitch streamers that probably have names like Zero.
Yeah,
Zero
yeah.
Ninja
Zero,
X.
Zero
Oh,
Ninja.
there's like a Super Smash Bros. Guy whose name is
Yeah.
Zero with like a 3.
Oh,
The
okay.
best Smash Brothers player of our Smash Brothers 4 player of all time. His handle is Zero, Zero. Yeah. What numbers do you guys put after your names? I've always been SNES 737. Like that's like my go-to, like 737. Anyone have a go-to number?
I mean, mine is 27. Look at
4460 was my like grade school student number, so
nice, dude.
I used that for stuff.
Well,
Numbers are fun.
why did I?
Why are we talking about numbers?
Why are we talking
Yeah,
about
John.
numbers? Because I picked a game that has a number in the title, and that game is Killer7, the 7th game in the Killer series. Nope, it's not. It is that's just the name of the game, Killer7, because there are 7 killers.
7 killers.
7 personalities.
7 personalities.
All right.
Killer7. It's a video game. It's a 2005 action adventure game. Right? What are we thinking? Action adventure? Is that accurate?
Shooter.
No, it's definitely a shooter. Shooter first. So it's survival horror.
That's action though. That's the action part.
So I don't know. I call it like a survival shooter. I don't know. Kind of tricky.
It's like a rail shooter with adventure game elements.
It's a stylish action shooter with survival horror and adventure point and click adventure elements set in the universe of Killer7.
Yeah. I think I don't know.
Developed by Grasshopper Manufactured.
I think when you say shooter, that just kind of denotes something that this game isn't. Like I think you need to qualify that it's a rail shooter because that's like a totally.
Yeah, it's kind of like an arcadey shooter, like that you would play with a light gun at a actual arcade.
Right. It's because you have control of the movement, but you're like on rails, and the aiming is like how you would aim in one of those arcade shooters, like Area 51 or House of the Dead, or something like that. Except you don't have a light gun; you just use the controller.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can jump between shooting and not shooting.
Yeah.
Like at will.
Yeah.
Which I think to me that's why it's not a rail shooter. Is because like yes, I know that you don't have full control over movement like in a typical shooter, but to me a rail shooter brings to mind this idea of like I'm going to like I have no control over my movement. I'm just a person with a gun shooting things, right? Whereas like this game kind of blurs those lines a lot.
Right.
Yeah, but you're still like the control of your movement is so limited that you're still basically on a rail, you know.
Fair. I think we get where we're coming from.
Yeah.
I definitely get where I'm coming from. I don't get where any of you are.
Yeah,
coming from.
I get where I'm coming from too. This game, it came out in 2005 for the GameCube and the PlayStation 2. And it was developed by Grasshopper Manufacturer and published by Capcom. And more importantly, the game was written and directed by Suda51, who's like
Suda.
Yeah. Wait, how do you say his name?
Goichi Suda.
Goichi Suda, who's kind of like a big name in the industry for making.
He's like
no, go ahead.
eccentric Japanese action games, basically.
Right. Probably most well known for this game and the No More Heroes series.
Yeah. He just came out with that.
Let It Die.
Right.
He just came out with that game, and that's a weird game.
Yeah.
And they did the Fatal Frame game for the Wii.
Okay.
Ooh.
He's done a lot of games.
Also, Fire Pro Wrestling. I think that's his thing too.
Oh, I never knew that.
He's credited for that on Wikipedia.
That's cool.
Yeah, he directed those. So.
Yeah. So pretty prolific director. Well,
Yeah.
One of the games that he directed that maybe we'll play for this game someday is called just Michigan Report from Hell.
Yeah, it sounds good. He did this one called Shadows of the Damned, which I don't think I've heard of that game. And I was looking at it, that looks pretty interesting.
That one wasn't as well received, but I remember playing it. My friend Nick was like super into Suda51 games, and so he showed me that game too.
Yeah, so there's definitely like a cult following around Suda51. He's because like it's a very
auteur
kind of game. Yeah, he's like an auteur. Yeah,
all of his games have this certain like over the top style.
Yeah,
and
I would compare him to like now I'm blanking on who's the guy who did like Deadly Premonition and that stuff.
Swery.
Oh yeah, Swery. I'd compare him to Swery.
Yeah.
Or the guy who did Nier.
That's kind of like not just is it like over the top or like eccentric, but it's like there's just like this almost like not being self-conscious. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the stuff like in Killer7 or in some of the other games, you'd like feel like I think a lot of developers would be like too self-conscious to be like, yeah, we're just gonna have a ghost follow you around.
Yeah,
like, but
it's
this
very
like
it's earnest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like the kind of stuff that you think like a publisher wouldn't even let the game be like this, because it's like so off the wall. Mm-hmm. Which, we'll get more into that in a little bit. But so that's basically Killer7. There's a story, I think, to the game. Does anybody want to...
It's a complicated noir. It's a complicated noir plot. And I can't explain it. No. Something about like the U.S. and like Japan governments are like you're basically a hitman for the U.S. government trying to take out these Japanese agents or something, right?
Yeah,
kind of. And
there's this giant government plot to take control of the world. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
Oh, that never happens in our live show. Anyways, so
it's pretty Kojima-esque. I think it's a mix of like kind of like anime with like also kind of a Western influence because like it takes place in the U.S. and it's like
right.
Yeah. I'd say it's like just to give the audience like an idea of the plot. The plot works on two levels. On one hand, you're this killer assassin who has 7 split personalities, but they're not just personalities like your face changes, like in Split or something. It's more like you literally like, change your body and like stuff like that. Like you become a different person. And it's because of like this stuff where there was like an accident like 60 years ago and you all got fused into like the one body of this person. And so there's like the higher level narrative, which is like you are like this force of good in the world, even though you're an assassin. And you're constantly working against this guy, Kunlun. I can't remember his name.
Kunlan.
You're constantly trying to fight him and stop him from getting what he wants. And what's interesting is it's framed as good versus evil, but you're like the killer assassin, and he's the one like hoping to bring like order to the world. Mm-hmm. but so like that's the higher level plot, and then the lower level plot is that you're an assassin, like in our assassin group that's hired out by like the U.S. Because they basically like the thing I got from the memos that were like in the game was kind of like they hire you out because they're like, if we don't hire them, someone else will.
Right. Yeah.
So they hire you to do like different odd jobs that they want.
Mm-hmm.
My cat is smelling the microphone.
And there's a terrorist group called Heaven Smile, who are like the main people you fight in the game, and they're infected by a virus that makes them want to kill. Mm-hmm. The Heaven Smile virus, and they explode.
Outfitted with explosives.
Yeah, so they're like kind of like suicide bombers almost.
Which is kind of ballsy for 2005.
Yeah, definitely. But it's Japan, you know.
Yeah, so that's like the gist of like the plot of this game. And there's like just a bunch of stages where you're going in and you're trying to assassinate or kill people or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Do people need to know anything else about Killer7 before we kind of go into it here?
I think those are about the basics.
Okay. There's a version of it on Steam now. It was like remastered for Steam last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I would be interested in playing, in part because I've always preferred playing shooters with a mouse instead of a controller.
Yeah, I didn't well, you know, I didn't like the controls of this game, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Should we just go right into it?
GameCube.
Yeah.
Did we say it came out for the GameCube?
Yeah, GameCube and PS2. Yeah. Alex?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
We're just about to go into what we liked about Killer7. So, what'd you guys like about it? We like anything about Killer7?
The style.
A stylish game, very stylish.
It is insanely stylish. I can't believe how freaking stylish this game is.
This is like, I think, the most stylish game we've played for this show ever.
Right.
And one of the like more stylish games I think I've ever played. It's just like this crazy like off the wall mix of influences. Like I don't even know. It's like 70s action movies and anime and like lo-fi horror movies and
yeah.
I was getting the Persona 5 vibe the whole time.
Yeah, there's definitely Persona 5 kind of feels like this game a little bit.
Yeah, it's like you see that game and you're like, wow, they really know how to do style. And then you can see Killer7 and you're like, well, shit. Like,
Yeah.
They keep the on the rails system interesting by like putting interesting camera angles instead of just like straight behind your character.
Yeah, I love the mechanic where when you have to reload your gun, it pans to your character so you can't see where the monster is that's approaching you. It's like a classic technique that's used in horror movies, and it's being used in this game to like amazing effect.
Yeah. Lots of canted angles.
Yeah. It's like you know you want to see where the monster is, but we're not going to let you, idiot. You're out of ammo, idiot.
Right. And it's
not.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say it's like it's kind of hard to like just talk about the style in this game without like, you know, like
Gushing.
Gushing but also just like talking about like specific things that you encounter in the game because there's just like so much weird stuff.
Yeah.
So whether like anything that you guys wanted to mention that you particularly enjoyed.
I liked all the character design.
Every single character is like an awesome design.
Yeah.
Like I could play a game, I feel like, with any of the characters that were like presented.
But
like,
you were allowed to choose whenever you found a certain thing.
Yeah, you could pick who you wanted whenever you wanted. Which is like that in itself is really cool. Like and kind of ballsy.
Yeah. I like that you can pretty much switch characters whenever. And the way that you switch characters is awesome. You like because you like go off into these little side rooms that are they're kind of like scattered throughout the level, and then you like interact with this TV, and you're like changing the channel on the TV with a dial to like switch through the different characters.
Yep.
And it just looks like awesome when you do
You
that.
can also change characters anywhere on the map from your start menu too.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah, I
Wow.
didn't
Yeah.
know that either.
Yeah,
Your
it's
character
useful
like
for
explodes
the
in like
pixels.
these pixels, and then you transform to the other
Yeah.
persona.
One element that I just thought was really, really fucking sweet was like when one character dies, they leave behind like a blood bag, and you can't like play that character again until you play like Cade, I think his name is, like the first guy who's like his role within the assassins is to retrieve the other assassins when they fall in battle. And so like I don't know, like that's just like think of how much thought went into like just okay, so what happens when like the characters die? Okay, well, we're gonna have one of them be the one who has to go retrieve the other ones, right? Like that's like so cool. Like I only played that guy when I went to retrieve because I was like, that's what his role is. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just like that's a lot of thought. Like it reminds me of like Super Mario 64. In that game, the camera is like it's a cameraman, right? Like the Lakido bro is holding a camera, and you control the camera that way. Like they personify the camera, and it's like there's this kind of like Aiden said earlier, like earnestness to like the fact that that like every like little detail in the game is like, okay, how can we make this like a unique thing and experience that thematically fits within this title, rather than just you die and you go back, or rather than just a list of characters you can just select right now. Let's make it a TV screen, like, and that's like the kind of love and care that really makes coming back to a game from 2005 and 2019 like feel valuable. You know what
Totally.
I mean?
Yeah. And there's just like so many like little things that they didn't have to do. Like the very first thing that I noticed like right away when you start the game is just there's these like the fonts are pretty amazing. But then like when you start a new game, the difficulty select screen, there's like music playing on the difficulty select screen, and if you switch to the harder difficulty, it like plays a different song that's like a little faster and like more intense, and that's kind of just like that's like a really cool stylistic choice that they just implemented for this stupid little difficulty menu.
Yeah.
And like you notice, like that's something that I noticed right away, and then like right away I was like, oh, like it seems like this game is going to be very stylish and like something that the creators put a lot of care into. So yeah, but there's just like that's just one example, but there's tons of stuff like that, like all over the place.
Yeah. Attention to detail is just so important to like making something that's just like that's great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I feel what's the name of the like the guy who you kind of like start as? Oh,
That's
Garcian Smith.
Oh, Garcian, you're right.
Garcian. Okay. Yeah, I feel like his character design is like kind of the perfect like metaphor for the style of this game, because he has like a big revolver, but he's holding it over his back like Cloud Strife, and it's like dirty Harry mixed with anime, and that's like the whole thing, right? So I thought that was like really cool, but
that's Dan.
Dan Smith.
Garcian is the first one you play as, but that's the black guy.
Oh yeah, I meant the one after that. There's a lot of characters; it's hard to keep them all straight.
Yeah, the few NPC characters that I came across in the time that I played were all like super interesting, and they look cool.
Yeah, and they've got like the fake voice type thing going on, like Animal Crossing or Katamari Damacy, and it's like awesome. It's like vocoded or something. So like the characters you meet, the NPCs are like speaking in chords almost.
Yeah, it's cool. It sounds like they. Oh, go ahead, Alec.
It's like a really dark game. Like the NPC, like you see ghosts of these people that like you've killed, like your other hits, like in your past, and like that one main guy who's like he's like your tip giver,
Travis.
Not Travis, the other guy who's like
the
in a
bondage guy.
Yeah, he's in like a gimp suit, and it's like it's kind of
something like that.
Kind of, it's weird.
Yes.
Wonder why he's got the ball and gag or whatever.
Yeah, it's super dark and super violent, and I'm surprised. I mean, I guess there were violent games on the GameCube, but this one feels like particularly just kind of messed up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like super gory. I mean, it's gory in the sense like there's a lot of blood. Like when you kill an enemy, like if you didn't like hit them in their sweet spot, like literally just like it's like gun holes like shoot out of them and like blood shoots and like perfect streams out of their body. So obviously there's like some gory elements, but none of it struck me as like none of it struck me as like gore for just gore's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it all plays into the style.
Mm-hmm. The music plays into the style a lot too. Music is great.
Yeah, it's got some really good music. Yeah. Should I play a couple tracks just for the audience? You guys won't be able to hear it.
We could pull it up on our own personal.
Yeah, you could if you want to. Or here's what I'll do. I'm going to send you this link in Discord, which is just a link to the whole playlist, and then I'll tell you which one I'm going to play here. All right, you guys got it?
Yep.
All right, let's try. Blackburn was the one I was just listening to. I think A Fierce Good Fight is the one from the difficulty menu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is tight.
Yeah, so it's like some like slow techno. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Yeah, and like I said, there's like a different version of this song that plays when you like select the higher difficulty, and it's just awesome. I love that. I don't know which other one to pick. Do you guys want to
play the song Russian Roulette?
Okay.
And it's just skip like the first 10 seconds, but.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, like this is like it's just so good. Like it's really like I don't know, like it just makes me want to gush. Like I love like walking into like the stairway or something, you know what I mean? And then like just some fucking dope track just drops, right? Like it makes like going through the whole game like a joy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the music in this game is really great. That's actually another thing that playing this game now makes me think of Persona 5. Like that track we just listened to was like very Persona 5-y.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, Persona 5 came out way after this game, obviously. So
yeah, I mean that's a game that's beloved by many. So it's not bad to be.
All the Personas have had really good music.
Yeah,
also,
for sure.
But yeah, this stuff definitely feels like edgier
Mm-hmm.
and more like alternative versions of music, stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a character that's like a head inside of a dryer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
you have
pretty
to
good.
take something out of its mouth.
Take the fire ring out of its mouth.
Yeah. But yeah, she's like, you turn off the dryer and then there's a head in there and then the head talks to you and it's real weird. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. Okay, so I think we covered the style pretty well, unless there's like anything else that specifically about it that people wanted to.
It's great. It's just great.
It's really, really good. It's really good. It's like some of the coolest style I've ever seen in a video game. Like bar none.
It's just
In
crafted.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, in anything.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's just crafted, you know what I mean? Like, and it's intentional and purposeful and like well thought out. You know what I mean? Not just like, oh look, these are cool colors. This is cell shaded. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. How are we feeling here about like the gameplay?
I liked the gameplay.
Okay. What would you like about it?
I liked so like there's like kind of like we said earlier, there's kind of like the shooting elements, and then there's the like there's like the puzzly kind of elements where you're going around like collecting items that you can like progress through the level and stuff. And so like this is where so in the ladder where you're like doing the more adventure style things, that's where the game's like different personalities really come alive, because like you'll reach like up like a padlock, and only one of the characters knows how to unlock padlocks. So you have to switch to that character and do
Oh,
that
okay.
thing.
I didn't actually realize that was going on.
And then, or like there's like a wall, a barrier you got to go through. So you got to switch to the female character because when you use her Y ability, that will break the barrier. And then so it's cool that like you have to like be thinking about what are these different characters, what are their abilities and skills, how can I switch between them to traverse these environments from a puzzle perspective, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's also that same question coming from a gameplay perspective because all of the heroes play really differently.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, they all like one guy most of them have like a gun they shoot. One of the guys just throws grenades. Like it's like what? Like it's like crazy.
Yeah, like the use of characters in this game is very like non-superficial. Like it's a super like integral part of the game. Is all the characters feel super different, and like you said, you need to use different characters to like actually progress sometimes. And that's like really cool. Like I'm sure there are other games like that, but I can't think of anything specifically right now where it's like you switch between all these different characters at will and you need to like be using their different abilities to progress and they all feel super different and stuff like that.
In a minor way, I would say Majora's Mask with the different masks kind of feels like that.
That's a good example.
But most of the time that's like, oh, for this level use this mask for the most part, right? Rather than this game where it's like you're ideally I think what Suda 51 are like what Grasshopper manufactured is like they wanted to design a game where you were fluidly switching between them a lot, but I still think it kind of, and not in a negative way, but it kind of lends itself more to this is the one I really like and I switch to the other ones to accomplish like niche tasks. You know what I mean? At least that's how I've ended up playing through the game.
Yeah, that's fair. What characters did you guys like to play as?
I liked the luchador guy with the two guns.
Was that the really like fast guy who he like held the two guns sideways?
No,
he had like a white cape on.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I liked him too. Were those like the shotguns that exploded? Or is that somebody else? Is that who you like?
No.
I'm pretty sure that was him, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Mask de Smith. Also, everyone's last name is Smith, that's also just cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I liked Con Smith, who had the dual pistols and he was super, super fast.
You know another game that switches characters out for specific tasks? Agents of Mayhem.
Donkey Kong 6. Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah, but that's a more like shooting focused switching, so like you'll want a certain person for close quarters combat and stuff like that, and a certain person for other combat.
Did we play Agents of Mayhem? What is that? I can't like think of what that is.
That's the game from the Saints Row people that came out a few years ago.
Oh yeah, okay. I never played that. Yeah, I'm sure there are other games that do that. I just like can't.
Yeah, I was just thinking of it. That's the other reason I like finally thought of one.
Yeah.
This is something that none of us, I assume, got to. But if you complete the game once, you can restart the game as Killer 8, and then you get to play as a young Harmon.
That's cool.
You actually do get to play as Harmon. Did anyone like play against the first big boss and complete the whole level?
I didn't get that far.
So this comes up early on in the game, but this like in the final part, this is like more pronounced. But like one of the way things is like some parts of the game, for narrative reasons, they want you to be a particular character, and the way that they'll do that is they won't just like you won't enter a room and you'll be the other character. It'll be like there'll be a security camera looking at you, and it'll like zoom in a little bit, and then it'll like phase out, and then you'll be the other assassin, and you won't have an option to switch until whatever is done. I thought that was really cool. And in one part later on in the first level, you like end up being Harmon, who's like this old man in a wheelchair with a sniper rifle, and you have to wheel around the level. It's like, that's cool. I don't know. I liked it.
That's like
Bloodborne.
Or Metal Gear Solid 3.
Mm-hmm. And so the combat, like a lot of these kind of rail shooters, a lot of times it's just like literally just like one shot, just shoot the thing. In this game, it's like a little deeper than that. You can like, if you shoot the leg on a guy who's like running at you, and like they're all suicide bombers, at least in the first level. But if you shoot like his leg, like it'll blow off his leg and then he'll have to like crawl towards you so you have more time to shoot him. Or you can like shoot off their arms, and they all have like a weak spot where if you shoot the weak spot, they instantly die. And if you shoot their head off, you get blood that you can use to do special abilities and stuff. So like to me, the rail shooter part of it didn't feel like I could see why some people wouldn't like it as much, but to me, it never felt stale. I was always like, okay, there's a guy here. And like the game does a cool thing where like it is kind of survival horror in a sense, but the enemies always like laugh when they start to attack you or start running at you. So you always know like that's like your audio cue to like pull up your gun and go from the third person mode where you're running around to the first person mode where you're shooting. And so like all of that just flows really well. Like I died like once right away and then like I never died again, but not because like the game is easy, but just because like I got into like that gameplay like a flow, like where I just was like going through the level, running around, killing stuff. It just felt really like smooth, and I like that a lot.
I died a lot actually, and I probably just because I wasn't being careful. But like, it seems like there's a thing when sometimes you go into a room and like the enemies are invisible or something, right? And I didn't really get that. Like, and then I would just kind of like run into them accidentally and explode.
You use the left trigger to scan the room for enemies and then become visible.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's really important.
I think that probably. I know we probably still have like other good things to say about it, but I think that would probably tie into like something that I didn't like about this game, which is just that there were so many systems, and the way that you learn about them is through. I thought was really, painfully slow dialogue. And I thought that stuff was like really obtuse. Because it's basically a menu that you access where you can like talk to your assistant and he'll teach you about all the different mechanics, of which there are like probably like 30 or 40 like things he can teach you about, and it's like the slowest dialogue of all time, and you can't skip through it.
I never used the like that menu. I just talked to them and they just explained things like once, and luckily I just got it, I guess.
Okay.
But I totally agree with the like argument that this game takes a little bit to get used to. Like it's not just like you can't just pick this up and play. It is pretty like there's some, just like how like the style's kind of esoteric, the controls and the gameplay can be as like can have a little bit higher barrier of entry than a typical game.
Yeah,
it feels like you got to operate on the game's terms. And I had some qualms with that too. Kind of for me, my biggest issue with how the game was presented was kind of navigating and having to open the map, and like when you get to certain points, you choose which direction you want to go and stuff like that, and knowing which one I wanted to go to. You know what I mean? Like you get to these basically like door points, and then you have to choose between which way.
Yeah,
I have a question. How do you? I didn't know there was a map. How do you open the map?
Select.
Yeah.
Okay. I can. Yeah.
No, it wasn't select. I think it was.
Well, the GameCube doesn't have a select button, does it?
Yeah, I can't remember how I opened the map right now.
Because it wasn't through the start menu, and I thought I hit all the buttons, but maybe not.
Yeah, I fell down the rabbit hole pretty quickly. Like as soon as like the first branching path presents itself, it's like, okay, let's go this way. And then I was getting these items that didn't know what they were for, and yeah, the first level it could have done a little better job of presenting the game at like the first few moments.
I agree with that. I think I do really love the way that you traverse the environment and like choose to go down hallways, because this is the interesting thing. Like I'm sure like the first couple times you guys did it as I did, is like you get to a point and like you stop pressing A and you just kind of like you can kind of like move the controls left and right to pick the hallway. But when you get good at traversing the environment, you can just hold A and then like press the direction of the hallway you want to go down, and then like the whole game it just starts like I said. For me, once I got into it, it just felt really smooth.
It's a flow.
Yeah, and so like the game, you can kind of tell, and this is maybe a dig on Suda51, but you kind of tell Suda51 like he gets really, because I played like a couple of his other games, so I've like, kind of experienced this a little bit. But like he kind of gets into his own games, and you can tell like he designs them because he knows how to play them, and like this is what feels good for him to play. But the thing is, it's like he doesn't design them from the perspective of like somebody who's coming into the game for the first time, because it's a lot different when you spent like a year designing this game, right? And
Yeah.
you're used to all of its controls versus when you're just picking this up.
Yeah, and I think like that can be probably like for me, some things about that were a little frustrating initially, but I also think like that's probably a lot of what makes his games like special and what they are, right? Is that he's just doing what he wants and like not really worrying about the player as much. But yeah, parts of that are definitely a little frustrating for me. I think, yeah, like what you were saying about the movement, Eric. I did get into that after a little bit too, like just holding down the A button and then flicking the stick to go the direction you want to go. But I still felt like, and it would have been easier if I knew that there was a map and I knew how to access it, but it was just like very hard to like navigate and know which way I was going a lot of the time. Or like know which paths I'd already explored, because sometimes it like when you like get to a direction select screen or whatever, like you want to go down the hallway or this other hallway, like sometimes an option will be dark blue, which I thought like indicated that you've already been this way or something. But I wasn't really sure. I don't know like what any of that stuff meant. So
yeah, I didn't really have any trouble moving through the environment. I didn't use the map at all. I guess I was able to kind of move in a pretty linear path, and so I never felt like I was getting lost, or I didn't, you know what I mean, or like I was treading the same ground again.
I don't know. Did anyone else have trouble with that, or was it just me?
No, I definitely had the same issues.
Yeah. Were there any like major things that we liked about it that we want to talk about, or should we just kind of go through a couple other things we didn't like? If there are any, I don't know. There were
I
definitely.
think we could move forth. I kind of gushed about what I wanted to gush about.
Yeah, same here, pretty much.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really like about it.
I like that you can shoot legs off.
Yeah, that's shooting lights off is fun.
All of the sound effects are really good
Yeah.
and nonsensical sometimes, but in a good way.
There is voice acting later on, and I don't, so you guys probably didn't hit it, but like the voice acting is actually pretty good. And on top of that,
There's some in the very beginning, I think.
oh yeah, there is. And on top of that, like the cutscenes are just like over the top and fun, and like they're often like they're just like wild. So like the first big boss is like this like anime like angel girl, but then like she doesn't do anything right away, and you shoot her wings off, she'll just like let you do it, and then she's like, you thought and then her voice suddenly gets really low, you thought I'd go down that easy. It's just like the whole, I don't know, like it was just really cool. I really loved this game. I did, like, my main complaints would be that like there was occasionally like times where I was like, I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing right now. Like, for instance, there was like this puzzle in the library, and this is a classic, like all survival horror games do this, so it's not really like a major complaint to me, but like there's like a puzzle, and there's like a control panel. You can put these engravings you get into, you put them into the control panel, and then the library shelves open so you can proceed through the level. And the thing is you don't know the control panel is there when you're running by it the first couple times. It's only once you get the engravings, both of them, that the control panel becomes available, like as like a hallway that you can go down. And I didn't realize that when I was running by, so I got really confused. I was just like standing in front of the bookshelves, like, open up, I have the engravings.
Oh yeah.
But like I figured it out. It wasn't a big deal. But I feel like that's something that happens to me like every survival horror or adventure game. Like I just, you know what I mean? Like I have that moment where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to, like, I mean, like I've done what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But
I definitely really, I'm not going to say I loved this game. I really liked it, and I think there were things about it that kept me from really loving it. And honestly, like a big thing was just like the speed of that dialogue was just like so like frustrating to me that I didn't even want to talk to any of the like characters in the world, because that dialogue was just like so slow and plotting. And if they just would have like added a button to skip through it, like that would have just been so much better. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah, I feel strongly the same because like I really wanted to like learn about all the personas and their skills and abilities because
Yeah.
it all like is super interesting. But I just could not sit through like half hour of
Yeah,
that guy.
and it's like those sound effects are cool, but like the weird like synthesized voice sounds are cool. But when you're just like listening to them like for minutes on end, like during this slow dialogue, it can be a little grating. Because you know they're not like particularly pleasant sounds. Like they're interesting, but it's just like, man, I just want to get through this dialogue. Like I get it, you know, like I just want to read. I don't need to like hear the synthesized voice acting.
This game would flow even better if you just like read the text and press A and go on to the next text. And press
Actually, an idea that I had was like that, and this is like a very Suda 51 idea, I think, would be like you rotate the analog stick to like fast forward through the dialogue, and you can like, if you rotate it slower, it would be like, it would make it slower or something. Or like fast forward slower, and that would like kind of fit into
cool.
like the VHS quality of the game a little bit.
You could have like a little tape icon next to the dialogue box.
So, so that was an idea that I had that I thought was cool. But
that would be cool.
if they had any way to skip through it, would have been fantastic.
Maybe they'll retroactively add that to the game now that you
Maybe
brought it up.
That might be in the
You should email him.
Yeah, I mean the Steam version might have that. But that was a pretty, like, I know it sounds dumb, but like that was honestly just a huge deal for me.
Well, if you're like loving a game and then there's just this thing keeping you from kind of experiencing it, it's a pretty big bummer. And it like, I mean, on top of it just being an annoyance, it's also just like you get frustrated with it because it's like, I just want to play this damn game.
Yeah.
So
And
what I would
go ahead, Eric. Nope, go ahead.
I was just watching like a half-minute clip of the remastered version, and it looks like it's not skippable, but they sped it up a lot.
Okay, well that's better, I guess. I think the shooting was fun. There were things about the controls that I didn't like. Like I think anytime you're aiming with the left analog stick, that just feels wrong.
Yeah, sometimes I felt like I definitely hit the weak spot, and then it just would like knock the leg off or something like that, or like, just like barely miss. So it makes me wonder if like, because I was like pretty certain I was right on it with my cursor. Just makes me wonder if there's like a spread or something like that.
Yeah, I think if you're to like bring this game up to par with modern controls, it would be like you hold the left trigger to aim, and then the right trigger fires, and you move the cursor around with the right analog stick. And that would have felt like way more natural to me, I think. But instead it was like, well, you hold the right trigger to aim, and then you're moving the left cursor with the left stick, and you shoot with the face button. And that just felt really weird.
I'm just going to say, looking at this like remastered one, it looks great. I know that's not really what we're talking about, but I'm just going to say the remastered version, like the cell shading really looks good in 2019.
Yeah, I just added it to my Steam wish list, so...
I think even the version we played, like the old version, looks amazing.
Yeah,
like,
look really good.
Looks like better than most cell shaded games, in my opinion. Like,
it
was really well done.
We didn't even mention that it was cell shaded, but that's like another aspect of the style. Okay.
I do think that this game, like, and this is like kind of maybe talking about like artificial difficulty in games, but like, if you were to like play this game with a mouse, or like I think this game becomes way easier because like a lot of it's about like that pinpoint precision of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just like sometimes like it was hard to be precise, and that's just because it was playing a shooter on especially like a rail shooter kind of game with a controller. It can be hard to like aim really precisely.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer a mouse, or even just a controller scheme that's a little more modernized. But yeah, and then just like the navigation stuff, I was not having a great time with that. Like knowing that now that there's a map, that would definitely help a lot.
Yeah, it helps, but like even with the map, I think that the fact that there's no like mini map like in the corner or something like that made it like you're basically toggling something so that you can make a choice in like basically a menu.
Yeah.
Like it's just it gets in the way of that flow state we're talking about. Which
Right.
like
And I think pairing that style of like navigation and movement with kind of something that's like more like a traditional adventure game where you're like exploring areas to try to find items and then backtracking a lot. I don't feel like those two things mixed together particularly well. Like to me, it was just a little overwhelming and confusing. And I think I could definitely get used to it after playing it a little more. But
there's like a ton of stuff going on in this game.
yeah, it's like those systems mixed with all the other like 50 systems in the game made it a little overwhelming to deal with right off the bat. But I could definitely see myself like going back to it again,
Especially
getting into it a little more. I don't think I'd spend $20 for it. I would definitely spend $10 for that remastered
A remaster
version.
for the Nintendo Switch where you aim with the internal gyroscope.
John, your birthday's coming up.
Yeah, that's true. Also, it makes me want to play that new No More Heroes game on the Switch.
Yeah, that's coming soon, isn't it?
No, it's out now.
It's out?
It's been out since January.
It's not that good.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay.
It didn't get great reviews.
Oh, never mind.
Alec, did you play it, Alec?
No, I did not.
I mean, I don't think any Suda 51 game is going to get great reviews. I think that's fair to just say, right? Like this game didn't get great reviews when it came out, and it's it's just because like they're kind of polarizing.
I don't know if when I'm thinking about it, I don't know if the No More Heroes that came out for the Switch was like a Suda 51 joint.
It was a hack and slash, and he did direct it.
He did.
He
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the same Travis that's in this game?
No,
I like to think it
I was
is.
wondering about that. Yeah.
it could be.
They look different though. But it's funny that they have the same name.
They are. He just really likes the name Travis.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well,
I wasn't. I was just gonna mention. I also played Let It Die. Did anyone else play that?
I played that game, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
It was like really cool. Like I thought what they were doing was like awesome, but I couldn't really get into it for some reason. I think it was another case of just like there were so many systems in it, and I was just really overwhelmed.
It's a super mechanical game.
Yeah. Like, it was like all those systems also like mixed with it being free to play, where they're like the free to play stuff wasn't super in your face, but there's like different currencies and stuff like that, and all that stuff was just like really confusing and overwhelming. So
yeah, and then there's like mushrooms you can throw or eat depending on if it's a good or bad mushroom.
Yeah.
So you have to decide if you want to eat the mushroom or throw it at an enemy.
Yeah, totally. That game had like amazing style and music too, though.
Yeah. Had like a skateboarding skull-headed man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool.
Yeah, it was dope. Anyway, yeah, maybe we should go ahead and review this now.
Let's number this bitch.
Let's throw some numbers on it. I had a
Tag
review
it,
of
tag it.
It's gone
You
now.
got an older view?
Yeah, I just gotta find it again. Can you hear my typing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to
Type
all the
softer.
listeners out there.
Yeah, please type softer.
All right, I have a review from GameSpot written by Greg Casavin on July 7th, 2005. Let's just get to the point here. Greg says, chances are you'll either love Killer7 or hate it. The game offers 2 difficulty settings plus some bonuses, but the way in which this game might stick with you could easily outweigh whatever replay value these extras provide. For a game that's filled with a lot of mindless shooting, it makes you think. And it makes you wonder why most games don't even bother to try, and maybe that's the whole point. And he gave it an 8.3.
Ooh, I agree, Greg.
He thinks the mature-themed content sometimes feels forced.
No. No, Greg.
But he also thinks the mind-melting plot and story sequences will make you talk.
Yes, Greg.
So I was just reading like ahead a little bit, and there is definitely some like weird stuff that happens like later on.
Yeah.
Like stuff that like you could like be like in terms of a quote unquote adult themed content.
Is there banging?
There's I'll just spoil it. You know the nurse who? Oh wait, did you guys see the nurse who wheels around Harmon?
Samantha, is that her name?
Yes, Samantha. She evidently rapes Harmon like in like a later part of the game.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like the game is weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a weird one.
Yeah,
Cool.
that sounds pretty weird. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think about this game before I review it. I want to know what scores you guys are going to give it.
I want to know what you're going to give it.
I want to know what you're going to give it. I always go first. Somebody else.
No,
go first.
you always go first.
Shut up.
Well, let me be the first to say how about I really like the dark, wacky themes, storytelling. Like that's like my favorite in video games. But this one was like super interesting to me, and I guess the unconventional gameplay was a little rough to get into at first, but yeah, you give it some time and you get in a groove and the game smooths out. And so like that's really the only thing that I could knock it for is gameplay wasn't like greatest, but that's not really what I liked about this game anyways. So I have to give it this 4 out of 5.
Nice.
'Cause it's pretty dope, I'd say. I don't get a lot of games 4 out of 5 on this show.
The
No,
first
you
Yeah,
one
usually
this
give them like
year.
1 or something like that.
Yeah, unless it's like fucking Mystic Heroes or something.
Actually, Alec
Every
has
week.
given out Alec has given out 1 this year and 1 4. Everything else has been a 2 or a 3.
What was his other 4?
No, only this was the 4.
Oh. This is his first 4 of the whole year?
Yeah.
Wow, we're like halfway through the year. That's pretty dismal.
Maybe I'll have to rethink my scoring
Yeah.
algorithms.
We play a lot of bad games, so.
Yeah. Alec also wasn't here for Draken, which was the game that Aiden gave a 4.
Ah.
Yeah, I bet Alec would have given that game a
Wait,
3.
how many games have I given over an 8? Out of 10.
You gave ActRaiser over an 8 and Evergrace over an 8, and that was it.
Okay. Well, this one I'm going to give also over an 8. I'm going to give it an 8.1 out of 10. Because I think like the stylish quality of Killer7 just can't be overstated. Like it is so cool to look at and play. And just like the mix of different influences is amazing. I think parts of the gameplay are really cool. Like just the idea of like mixing a rail shooter, which, you know, I think this game is a rail shooter. Like I think that's a big part of what it is, but also like the adventure game stuff, like mixing those two things is really an interesting idea. And there are a few things about it that I thought were flawed, but overall it's just like a really cool, unique game, and I'm really happy that it exists. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Who else wants to say what they think?
I'll go last.
Who among you will speak?
I have an extreme review.
Okay. Uh-oh.
I'm going to give this game a 5 out of 5.
That's 100%.
It's a perfect game. I think that Suda51 hasn't executed his style better in any of his games after this one.
Yes.
I think that the style of this game is better than most movies and TV shows. Like I think that the style of this game is on par with this year's Into the Spider-Verse. And that game, that movie has amazing style.
Yeah.
I had problems with some of the gameplay, but I think that you could play this game now and be like, wow, this is a really cool title. I would recommend this to someone now. And it you know, it's a heckin' magnum opus, I think.
Totally. It's really a shame that it's not on more platforms right now. Like I'm glad that they put it out on Steam, but like put it out on PS4, put it out on Switch. Like, what are you guys doing?
I get those chivis.
But yeah, I don't know.
Jeez.
Anyway, Eric has an extreme review for us.
Oh, I didn't think Aiden was going to give it a 5, too. So,
Eric's going to give it a 6.
Yeah, you have to give it like that 7 now.
0 out of
5.
0.
So
It's your void game.
It's too good to be real.
So here's what I think. This game is wonderful. It's a joy to play. It's super smooth and it's super cool. And when you get into the flow of it, like Alec was saying, this game is just fun and it flies and it feels good. Everything about it is like quirky and weird, but like in a way that feels like meaningful. You know what I mean? Like not just like quirky for quirky's sake. Like I think of like when I think of quirky for quirky's sake, I think of like how for some reason the female character Mystic Heroes had the lowest voice of any of the characters, right? Like like an absurdly low voice, right? But like this game, it's a ton of fun to play. Like I liked the combat. Like it didn't strike me as very difficult. I liked switching between the different assassins. I thought that just the idea that you're playing like this ghost god who's like incarnate on Earth as 7 different assassins is like it's out there, it's weird, and there's like small things I don't like about the game, like the text like being really slow. But to me, like that's a small price to pay for a game as cool and as fun as this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna give this translated to a 5 out of 5, but 7 killers out of 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it. I really thank you, John, for picking it.
You bet.
Probably my favorite game we've played on the Pix Report. So
Cool. I almost picked a bad game, and then I was like, I'll do this one because I've never played it. I've heard of it. You know, I know it was like weird, so I figured it'd be a good fit. I'm glad you guys liked it.
It's a weird one.
It's going to be a Game of the Year contender, faux show.
Oh, so.
Alex sounds like he's inside like a plastic tube or something.
Yeah. He's in a balloon.
Yeah.
It's an hour and 5 minutes.
All right. Well,
one thing about
good.
I was going to say one thing that we've learned through this show is that the GameCube either has amazing games or really shitty games.
Man, some of those GameCube games are awesome. Like the ones I didn't play when they came out, like Chibi Robo. That game is amazing.
Chibi Robo is amazing.
Killer7 is really good.
Was terrible.
Chibi Robo doesn't have screaming zombies though.
Mystic Heroes was a GameCube game. It's crazy to me that we played Chibi Robo episode 39 and Mystic Heroes episode 40.
Yeah.
But
well,
yes.
do you guys want to do news real quick and then wrap it up?
Sure.
I got a couple newsies here.
All right, let's hear the bites.
Got a couple letters.
Just a minor thing before you read that. I posted on the link. I posted this link on the Pix Report, but there's a video from Game Informer where they just played through the first level of Killer7 with Suda 51.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Is that
is
that the replay series or is it something else?
Yeah, Super Replay.
Okay, I watched
episode with Suda 51.
I watched a lot of those. It's like very in the spirit of what we do. I think
that even if you're not like an Omega gamer like I am, you should watch video of this game because when you see it in motion, it's just like like art basically.
Yeah.
It's enriching to see.
Even the non-Omega gamers can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I have a GamePro magazine from July 2005. I downloaded the PDF to my device. And I have here some letters to the editor.
Oh, what is this Sonic Hedgehog doing in the bathtub?
I have one here that's actually pertinent.
Okay.
It says "Too easy to be hard." That's the headline, and it comes in from Eric Gardy via the internet, and he says, "I've been playing a lot of classic video games lately. I think the video games back then were a lot harder than they are now. At first, I thought they actually might be easier because their controls are so simple with the A and B buttons and a directional pad, but I was very wrong. I'm a little worried that games in the future will be far too easy. The challenge of video games is a big part of what makes them so great, and if challenge levels continue to go down, the great world of video games will go down with it. What do you think? What do you guys think games are, we're 15 years out now from this letter that this guy sent in, or 14
It's
years.
true. He's
You think
right.
Games are too easy?
He was on to something. I don't know if it manifested in the way that he thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a market for difficult games, and the thing is the most widely played games are competitive games, which are fundamentally difficult because they're pitting you against another person who is trying their best to do the same thing as you are, right?
Yeah.
And so like I would say like people who want that difficult game experience generally will gravitate towards the competitive games.
That's a good point.
Esports.
I think in the single player arena, like I feel like there's very little in the way of middle ground. It's kind of like games have gotten very, like AAA games have gotten much easier like over the last 10 or 20 years, and then the response to that has been, well, there's these AAA games that are super easy, and then there's like also a huge market and push for games that are like really difficult because there are a lot of people out there who still want that, and then I feel like the in-between just kind of doesn't really exist. Like games are either too easy or like really hard.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I would say, like, just replying to Eric's question in his thing, a lot of those old NES games and SNES games that he's referring to are kind of hard for two reasons that are inauthentic to me. One, they're inspired by arcade games, which are artificially hard to get you to put more money into them. I mean, that's just a fact. Like, arcade games are meant to be very hard, and those early generations of console games were obviously very inspired by arcade games. And two, a lot of those games have really bad controls, like that make the game a lot harder than it needs to be.
yeah,
And so to me, that's also like, that doesn't inspire me to like think like this is a hard game and that difficulty is a joy to play through. Unlike a game like, to me, like Dark Souls, where it's like difficult, but it's like part of the joy of playing the game is that it's difficult. For me, at least.
yeah. And what was I gonna say? Shoot. Oh yeah, I even went back and played like Super Mario Brothers because you can play those on the Switch now, like all those NES games. And I think Super Mario Brothers is really, really hard. Like I can like barely get through any of that game. I don't know about you guys, but
I agree. Mario.
I know other people in this group have played a lot more of those games than I have, but I just like cannot. They're just like so difficult for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work like it wants me to.
Yeah, I'd say though the game design has also gotten better at easing the transition from not new player to experienced player than what those old games did. Like I said, like arcade games are the same. You know, this is another inspiration of arcade games, but arcade games, they're hard right out the gate, right? There's no learning curve. Like Pac-Man, the ghosts are coming for you. Like they get a little hard, right? They get progressively harder in some senses, but like, so like I think about Super Mario Bros. And like some of those early levels are like hard. For sure. But also, like, I think of a game like Super Meat Boy, which is like definitively way harder than Super Mario Bros., but it doesn't feel harder because of A, the format of the game, but also B, because it eases you into the systems a lot better.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, but I wish there were more games that were like hard, but not too hard. And I feel like the Dark Souls games, excluding Sekiro, are maybe like the only games that do that for me. And I know a lot of people like those games are too hard for a lot of people, but for me, like they just really click with me most of the time in a way that's like it's like challenging but not frustrating. And there are like few games that actually do that for me. So yeah, I don't know. I wish there were more games like that, but
Hey,
I just bought
Alex?
hey, what up?
Alec,
Hey, did you guys know?
what's going on? Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you guys know Sonic's middle name is Maurice?
That's not true.
Yeah, it's Sonic Maurice Hedgehog. He says it in the
sounds
comics.
like cue to end an episode.
Well, wait. I need to describe this Skechers ad quick.
Okay.
Actually, here, let me. I'm gonna throw this in the. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and throw it in the chat. But basically, there's a man in an ice cave wearing Skechers, and there's a woman wearing like scanty clothes holding him down with a whip.
Ooh.
And he's wearing, and then it just says Skechers. You know. Here, let me. I'm going to throw this in the Facebook chat. Oh wait, you can't put images in here. That's so stupid. Why can't you do that?
Hate you, Facebook.
It's the worst. Oh well. Yeah, I don't know. I think we can be done.
Listening.
I don't think we need to do any more news.
Okay, I can say it again. Sonic Maurice Hedgehog.
All right, Team Maurice. I'm Team Killer7. I'm Team Travis. I don't know about you guys, but yeah.
I'm Team Bondage Man.
Okay, I did like the Bondage Man. But anyway, thanks everyone for listening. Don't really know what's going on with our schedule right now in terms of when we'll have another episode because the library is going to be closed. But hopefully next Sunday. So you can check us out at facebook.com/thepixelreport. You can listen to our episodes live there. Or you can find us on Spotify or your favorite podcast app to listen to these episodes in podcast format.
Oh, hold on.
Yep.
Maurice Hedgehog is Sonic's grandpa, and they named Sonic's middle name after him.
Play the music.
His grandpa's name is Maurice?
Maurice Hedgehog, and so Sonic's dad is called Jules.
Oh.
Send us off.
He's got to rip that jewel, am I right? All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
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 There's music going right now, so don't talk.
Oh, sorry.